Well, then some of us started getting sick because we were out there at the beach. Of course, none of us got in the water. Well, none of us were stupid enough after listening to Dr. Ott. But we were taking media out on the boats, showing them the oil all over the water, showing them what we thought was dispersant, explaining to them about the dolphins and the wildlife that we had back here. So we started getting sick. So a couple of us started doing a little more investigation on this, the side effects, what the symptoms were, what to expect. And we went before the town on one of the Wednesday meetings, and were immediately shut down. Into the meeting and asked the room how many people are sick, how many people are coughing, have cold or flu-like symptoms, the whole bit. Half the room raised their hand, and we're talking 300 to 500 people in this gym. So we went and had our blood tested. We found out that Metamatrix is a company that specializes in tests to deal with chemicals and oil and the whole thing. So we found a doctor that would order the test, and numerous of us have gone in. It took about 2 weeks for us to get our results back, and which is very phenomenal because think about it. Once you go out and you're exposed and you breathe this stuff in, for it to stay in my body long enough for the test to show these results.
Okay, I got it.
So we go in, we get our blood test back. The doctor calls, and he says, "Yeah, it showed some stuff. I need y'all to come in and sit down. I'm talking with Metamatrix. I'm talking with different physicians." Of course, it did not show benzene. And of course, what we've learned from talking with one of the top doctors that deals with this, benzene comes into your system and then it's flushed out very, very quickly. But what it did show was the ethylbenzene, which is a derivative of benzene. It showed the Exxon, showed hexane, number 2 methylpentane, number 3 methylpentane, and isooctane. Number 2 was what I was worried about the first week because they put a great big old H by it. So I went to Metamatrix and I pulled up the guide that tells you how to read about your blood test. And so they will put an L if it's lower than the normal. They won't put anything besides something that's between low and high. And if it's too high, they'll put a great big old H. Well, we kind of freaked out about that because it was pretty scary. But then, after talking with Dr. Halbert, who is an expert in dealing with chemical-induced illnesses, he said the one that we really need to be concerned about is the hexane because we had such high levels. And we had these tests 3 to 4 weeks after we were probably heavily exposed. He's actually in Michigan. We couldn't find anybody around here that had any clue what to do. I mean, you walked in and they wanted to say, "Oh, you have a cold, you have the flu." They're telling the children that around here that you have strep throat because that's one of the first things. That's how it starts off. You get this fiery, burning sore throat. Long before I went and had these tests, there were 4 or 5 pharmacists here in town that started keeping diaries of the people walking in, whether they were local or tourists that were saying, "I've got this bad sore throat, I've got this cough, I have these allergies all of a sudden, I've gotten here." So they started tracking the symptoms. There's a core group of them that finally said, "Holy cow, something's going on." They started listening to what we were saying, but we still couldn't get a lot of help. We couldn't get any help from the doctors because they didn't know what to do. I've had people in here to test the air. Before I got my test done, I had a group that came in from New Jersey and Boston to test the air. Put them in one of my beach houses right here in Orange Beach, right directly on the beach. They were here 2 days. The 3rd day, the guy from Boston woke up and had a sore throat, went outside, put the machine out on the deck, and within 15 minutes it registered 110 parts per million. That's VOCs in the air. It just says this is astronomical. We've spent this week talking to different scientists, toxologists, and doctors about the protocol and what we need to do now. And got a phone call from a mom yesterday who has children that are sick. She's been sick, so she's kind of been investigating behind the scenes. So she called both of the local elementary schools here, Orange Beach and Gulf Shores, and was told by either personnel there and or the school nurse that there were a ton of kids out sick with strep throat and a stomach virus. Well, if you know what the symptoms are, you start out with the fiery, burning throat. It moves into the cough. You ache. You're very lethargic. Your memory. But in speaking with the doctors, they have now said, okay, your blood shows that you have it. Now you need to go in and have all these other tests. You need to have a high-resolution scan of your lungs, your brain, your liver, your kidney. Because the way he explained it to us, it comes into your body, goes through the bloodstream, settles in your fatty tissues, settles in your organs, and it doesn't go anywhere. So they've also told us that in 5 to 10 years, they don't have a time frame, they're just guessing, we could come down with some god-awful form of cancer, and tough. They can put us on detox, we can do all kinds of things, but there's no assurance that this stuff is going to come out of our body.
Right.
Well, it really fired us up. We've had a chemist down here doing a lot of water testing, independent. So we have found Corexic, we have found the oil in the water. We've done it right off of here. We've done it in Cotton Bayou. It's been done up here on West Beach, Orange Beach, Dolphin Island. That water actually exploded. We went from there. We started another air quality testing with Argos Incorporated. So they're down here doing that for us now. When Dr. Naiman, our chemist, went to Dolphin Island, I think to get another water sample so he could run another one, he actually found a place over there that had drums of Corexic 9527. Which they're not supposed to be using. They're supposed to be using Corexic 9500. So he took a bunch of pictures. 2 days later, I went over with another cameraman and some different reporters, and we found it. Not 200 barrels of it, but we found 5 or 6, and now the day after we left, they moved it. We actually went back there, and we're snapping pictures of the containers, and he came back there and ran us off.
How long were you that sick?
2 weeks in bed. I did not get out. I'm the person that goes to bed at 8 o'clock and I'm up at 5 o'clock. And I run like the Energizer Bunny all day long until it's time to go to bed. I don't sleep that much. I could wake up, talk to you for 2 seconds, and I can immediately go back to sleep. I mean, I was that lethargic. It was the coughing. I mean, I had to sleep sitting, propped up, because I couldn't breathe. All this stuff was
Did they treat you in any way? Did they give you anything?
No. The only thing they could do, because the doctors down here didn't know how to do it, was to put you on a nebulizer and steroids. And I said, no. Every breath you took, you were coughing so hard that it was jarring your whole body. And it got to the point where if I was standing up, I had to curl up like this to cough because my body couldn't take it anymore. It was just bruised from the inside out.
Oh, man.
But no, I had to sleep sitting up, and it was 2 weeks. I mean, I could get up with assistance and go to the bathroom and come back. Couldn't eat. Everything that I ate, I coughed so hard, I would throw it up. We were coughing up all these huge globs of things. And I noticed several times that it did not look like what you normally cough up. It was really foamy and frothy. And it was not yellow or clear. It was a very light lime green. So I kind of noticed that a couple of times. So I picked up the phone and called 2 or 3 other people I knew that was sick as I was. And I said, would you please describe what you're spitting up? I said, I know it sounds gross, but I have a purpose to my question. And that was the thing. It was either they would say frothy or foamy, and they would talk about it being tinged green. It was really weird looking. So then I picked up the phone and called the toxologist, Dr. Burns, and I said, when we're spitting this stuff up, several of us have talked, and I described it to her. And she said, that's the Corexic. You're coughing up that stuff. I could have probably filled a huge jug every day because every cough you took, it came up.
Right.
And it just went on and on and on. Till, like I said, I just laid there in the bed crying. I was so miserable. The other weird thing that happened before I got the cough and the other stuff so very bad, I came in the kitchen one morning and was making my coffee, and I would reach for something, and where I thought it was like right in front of me, it was actually like over here. My vision was really bad off. And then I would grab something and pick it up and like go to walk across the kitchen with a cup, and it would just fall out of my hands. And after I broke 3 glasses in less than an hour, I said, okay, that's it. I can't even pick up stuff.
Right.
Which, after talking with Dr. Halbert, he told us that was one of the symptoms.
Really?
Well, it affects your nerves. We have another young lady up in Foley, Robin Hill, that worked on the beach. And she was one of the first ones to like really go down with all these symptoms. Passed out on the beach at work from breathing this stuff, and they took her in an ambulance. And the doctor tried to make her sign a document. He worked on her for 30 minutes to sign a document saying that she had a heat stroke. And he flat out told her, we don't need this kind of stuff getting out. It's going to affect our property values and our tourism and everything else. She let him. She flat out refused to sign it. And of course she left and didn't use the doctor anymore.